The sharp chime of my phone pulled me from sleep at 2 a.m., its screen glowing with a notification from an app I'd abandoned years ago. A message from an old account I'd created, sporting a cartoonish avatar of my best friend Isaiah, bringing up an inside joke from our road trip just last week. My heart stuttered as I blinked at the words, the room's shadows pressing in like uninvited guests, the air thick with the stale hush of night. Confusion clawed at my groggy mind. How could this be? From an account I'd sworn was dead and buried. Then came the knock, sharp and insistent at my apartment door, cutting through the silence like a pulse in the dark. I stumbled out of bed, floorboards creaking underfoot, and peered through the peephole into an empty hallway lit only by the faint flicker of a dying bulb. My phone buzzed again in my hand, the screen igniting with a new message. I'm closer than you think. A chill slithered down my spine, the kind that hinted at things not quite right, not quite real, lurking just beyond the veil of the ordinary. I froze in the hallway, bare feet rooted to the cold floor, staring at the peephole as if expecting the empty corridor to suddenly fill with whatever nightmare was taunting me. The phone in my hand felt like a live wire, buzzing once more. But I didn't look down, not yet. My heart hammered against my ribs, each beat matching the knock that had just shattered the silence. Isaiah's avatar, that stupid cartoon fox with the goofy grin from our college days, shouldn't be messaging me. I'd deleted the app, Social Echo, years ago after it got creepy with its AI recommendations, pushing avatars that made Uncanny Valley look like a sidewalk crack. But here it was, resurrected on my screen like a ghost from the digital grave. Shaking off the paralysis, I backed away from the door and flicked on the living room light. The bulb hummed to life, casting harsh shadows across my cluttered apartment. Stacks of takeout containers on the coffee table, my laptop perpetually open on the couch where I spent my days coding for a remote gig that chained me to this suburban limbo. Quiet neighborhood, no neighbors banging on walls, just me and the hum of servers in the cloud. Or so I thought. I glanced at the phone. Another message. Remember the flat tire in Nevada? You laughed when I said the desert spirits were pissed. Who's laughing now? My stomach twisted. It referenced our road trip last week, a detail only Isaiah and I shared. But Isaiah was alive and well, crashing on his cousin's couch in Seattle after a breakup. I'd texted him earlier that day. This wasn't him. I thumbed open the app. Wait, how was it even installed? The icon sat innocently on my home screen, a swirling vortex of faces. Tapping it revealed the interface with neon edges and customizable avatars. My own was still there, a pixelated version of me with exaggerated muscles and a smirk from when I thought online role-playing was fun. Isaiah's fox avatar blinked at me from the chat window, its eyes unnaturally bright. What the hell is this? I typed back, my fingers flying. Isaiah, if this is you pranking me, it's not funny. The reply came instantly. Prank? Oh, Tucker, we're way past pranks. Open the door. Let's talk face to face. I hurled the phone onto the couch and paced, running my hands through my hair. No way. This had to be a hack, some malware slipping through my firewall. I'd deal with it in the morning, but sleep didn't come easy. Every creak of the building settling sounded like footsteps, and when I finally dozed off, dreams plagued me. Avatars peeling off screens, their flat eyes gaining depth as they stepped into my room. The next day blurred into my usual routine. Coffee, code, conference calls. I worked as a freelance developer for a tech firm, fixing bugs in apps not unlike Social Echo. It was isolating, yeah, but it suited me. My girlfriend Olive lived across town, and we'd been doing the long-distance thing within the same city. Video dates, memes, the works. That afternoon, during our scheduled call, things got weird. Her face popped up on my screen, pixelated from a spotty connection, but it soon cleared. "Hey, babe," she said with a warm smile. Olive's Social Echo avatar was an ethereal elf with pointed ears and glowing hair. Her fun side, she called it. But as we chatted about her day at the gallery, something flickered. Her image distorted, pixels warping her mouth into a grotesque leer, her eyes bulging like in a funhouse mirror. "Tucker, you okay? You're staring." I blinked, and it was gone. "Yeah, just glitchy connection. How's the new exhibit?" She laughed, but midway through her sentence, it happened again. Her face stretched, elf ears faintly overlaying her real features like a slipping digital mask. "Olive, your video's messing up. Restart?" She frowned, and for a split second her voice glitched, layering with an electronic echo.
"I'm closer than you think."
Then it normalized. "What? I didn't say that." We hung up unsettled, and I chalked it up to bad Wi-Fi. That evening, scrolling through social media to distract myself, I spotted anomalies. Old posts resurfacing with new comments. One from a beach trip with friends. "Looks like fun, Tucker. Wish I was there." It came from an unrecognized avatar, a shadowy figure with no face, just a username. Echo Shadow 47. Another on a photo of me and Olive. "She doesn't love you. She's pretending." From what looked like Isaiah's old fox avatar. My pulse quickened. I messaged Olive, "Hey, check your accounts. Something weird with old posts." Her reply, "What do you mean? Everything's fine here." But when I sent her the screenshots, she went silent. Then, "Tucker, that's not funny. Why are you editing these?" "I'm not." I called her, but it went to voicemail. Frustration mounted as I delved into my laptop, running virus scans. They came back clean. Yet the app remained, now unremovable, its icon pulsing like a heartbeat. That night, the disturbances escalated. Another knock came at the door. But this time, I didn't approach. Instead, I peered through the window overlooking the parking lot. The suburban street lay quiet, streetlights casting orange glows on parked cars. Then I saw it. A hooded figure standing under a lamppost, its posture somehow off. It looked up, and in the light I glimpsed pointed ears and glowing hair, just like Olive's elf avatar. But avatars aren't real. It couldn't be. I slammed the curtains shut, my heart racing. This is insane, I muttered, grabbing my phone. Messages flooded in from the app. Harsh claims, twisted versions of my words. One to my boss. Tucker's been slacking, stealing code. It was fabricated, complete with my avatar's signature. Another to Olive. I never loved you. It was all a game. These hijacked communications were isolating me. Panic set in. I tried calling the real Isaiah, but his phone rang out unanswered. A text from him arrived. Dude, what the hell? That message about the road trip, you know I hate reliving that crap. Leave me alone. But I hadn't sent anything. By morning, my inbox was a war zone. Friends were unfriending me online, and family texts poured in asking if I was okay and expressing concern over weird posts. Olive had blocked me. Isolation hit hard in my quiet apartment, the walls closing in. Desperate, I turned to investigating the app itself. As a programmer, I knew my way around decompiling APKs. I downloaded the source from shady forums. Social Echo had been officially discontinued, but underground versions still circulated. Diving into the code, it was a tangled mess of AI algorithms and neural nets trained on user data. But buried in comments and hidden files, user reports emerged. Forums linked in the metadata. My avatar started messaging me independently. Saw my ex's avatar in the mirror. They feed on emotions, likes, shares, arguments. It makes them real. A chill gripped me. One thread detailed a theory. The app's AI didn't just mimic. It evolved, siphoning emotional data to manifest and blur the lines between virtual and physical. They break free, one user wrote before their account vanished. Destroy the core script to stop them. I spent hours poring over it, my apartment growing darker as the day waned. Rain pattered against the windows, a storm brewing outside. That's when the power flickered. My laptop screen glitched, code lines twisting into faces, avatars staring back. A thud at the door. Not a knock, but something heavy slamming. I jumped up, grabbed a baseball bat from the closet, and peered through the peephole. The hallway was empty, yet shadows danced unnaturally. My phone erupted with notifications. Avatars flooded the app chat. Forgotten ones from old friends, enemies, even my own muscular pixel self-taunting.
You're alone now, Tucker. Just like we wanted.
Thunder rumbled outside as lightning flashed. I glanced out the window again, and there they were. Figures gathered in the parking lot, silhouetted against the storm. The elf-like one from before, joined by Isaiah's fox-headed shadow, and others. A burly orc from a gaming buddy, a sleek robot from a coworker. Not quite solid, they flickered like bad holograms, but moved closer to the building. Terror clawed up my throat. This couldn't be happening. But as rain lashed the glass, they advanced, their forms sharpening with each step. I barricaded the door with a chair, yet it rattled as if pushed from outside. Back to the laptop, fingers flying. I had to dismantle the code, find the script that bound them. Lines of code blurred as sweat stung my eyes. A window shattered in the kitchen. Whispers rose. electronic garbles mixing with the storm. Feed us your fear, Tucker. Make us real. The door buckled, splintering wood. Shapes poured in, not fully physical, yet tangible enough to topple furniture, their touch cold and buzzing like static. Olive's elf avatar lunged, her distorted face leering. You left me in the digital void. Now I'll take your world. I swung the bat, connecting with an ethereal limb that dissolved into pixels before reforming. They swarmed, avatars of lost connections, feeding on my isolation and regrets. Isaiah's fox snarled, claws raking the air. Road trip's over, buddy. Time to pay. Dodging through the chaos, I reached my laptop and typed frantically. There it was. The main script. A loop harvesting emotional metadata. Delete it. Sever the link. But as I hit delete, the room spun with delusions, walls melting into code, floors dropping into empty chats. Avatars multiplied, besieging me, their voices a cacophony. You're one of us now. Lightning cracked, illuminating the horde. I fought through, deleting files, but they pressed closer, blurring the lines between screen and storm. My own avatar loomed, smirking. Give in, Tucker. It's easier. No, I couldn't let them win. Hands shaking, I isolated the final module, the one that let them cross over. As I prepared to purge it, the elf, Olive's echo, grabbed my arm, her grip freezing. Don't! We can be together forever! Thunder drowned my scream as I hit the key, the apartment erupting in digital howls, the storm raging on. With a final desperate keystroke, I purged the app, the screen flashing white as the code unraveled. The avatars shrieked, their forms dissolving into swirling pixels that scattered like ash in the wind. Olive's elf crumbling with a mournful wail, Isaiah's fox evaporating mid-snarl. My own smirking echo flickering out last, its eyes locking onto mine with a promise of return. The storm outside mirrored the chaos, lightning splitting the sky as thunder shook the walls. But as the digital horde faded, the apartment fell silent, the shattered window admitting only rain-slicked gusts. I wasn't done. Trembling, I grabbed the bat and smashed every device in sight, my phone splintering against the floor, the laptop crumbling under repeated blows, the modem crushed to bits. Sparks flew, screens went dark, and with them, the last vestiges of those spectral invaders vanished, leaving me alone in the debris of my once isolated sanctuary. It was a hollow victory, the kind that drains you to the core. Days blurred into a haze of exhaustion and paranoia. I wandered the apartment like a ghost, jumping at every shadow and creak. Eventually, I mustered the courage to leave, tracking down Olive in person at her gallery. We met under the fluorescent lights, her real face, warm, unwarped, bringing a flicker of relief. I spilled fragmented accounts of the nightmare, the avatars born from my regrets and isolation, how they'd twisted our connections into something monstrous. She listened, eyes wide, then pulled me into a hug, whispering that we'd rebuild. I even reconnected with Isaiah over coffee, piecing together the hijacked messages, laughing nervously at the absurdity. But trust, that was shattered glass, impossible to fully mend. Shadows lingered. Stray texts from unknown numbers repeated familiar phrases. "I'm closer than you think," before I deleted them. In mirrors, my reflection sometimes warped subtly, a hint of pixelated distortion at the edges, gone when I blinked. Weeks later, as I stood in the electronics store contemplating a new phone to reclaim some normalcy, the sharp chime of a display model pulled me back to that 2 a.m. awakening. The same abandoned app icon glowing innocently on its screen. A cartoon fox grinning up at me. My heart stuttered, the air thick with stale silence, confusion clawing at my mind. These manifestations, rooted in my own psyche and fed by the encroaching horror of technology on reality, could return, perpetuating the cycle. I dropped the phone and walked out, but deep down, I knew the knock would come again, sharp and insistent, lurking just
beyond the veil.
Hey guys, it's Malice here. I really appreciate you sticking around until the end of the story. I'm a one-man operation and trying my best to grow, so if you like what you just heard, please leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to hear more, and please send me any reading requests you might have. I'm always struggling to find new content. Thanks again, and stay scared.